Welcome to Appreciating Art. I'm your host, Reese, and we're here with Jarrett today. We are going to go through Lavender Days by Caamp. This is an album that we both listened to. We had this conversation, what's their best album? And I said it might be this one. There was a little bit of debate. Ended up listening to all three.
Yep.
Soon to be 4. They're about to drop another album.
Sometime in June.
Something like that. Yeah. It's going to be pretty good. I can feel it. The one single they've released is, yeah. So, Lavender Days by Caamp was their 3rd studio album. It was released in 2022, and it consists of 12 tracks. For me, this album, I think, really has a little bit of everything. You got some that are kind of upbeat, positive, then it gets kind of mellow throughout, and then kind of wraps it back up on a little, hopeful, positive note. But so something that we have figured out is that this is a full, cohesive story.
Yeah. I think the story is what really sets it into that other tier of good albums. Because, individually, all the songs are great. You could see any of them in a playlist and not be mad about it. But together, listening through the tracks straight through and just appreciating the story, I think really elevates it to another level.
Yeah. And I get people tell me, I don't know why you listen to albums all the way through. I couldn't do that. But then you get albums like this where just the whole thing, you just there's just something going on, and it's not something that every artist can capture. But they did a fantastic job.
And I think you can really see the passion behind that too. Sitting down and actually thinking about, how do we want this album start to finish? What story do we want it to tell through all the songs? I think there's a lot of intentionality with that. Yeah. And I think that's really beautiful as an expression.
My example for that is usually the Backseat Lovers. Man, their first album, it's a classic. Everybody loves it. Every song on there is great. But they've come out and said they made that. They just made they make a song, they go and play it for people, and then eventually they just had a bunch of songs they put all on an album. Then their second one, they said we're gonna sit down and we're gonna make a cohesive album, all of them flow together, and it's arguably better than their first. I think we'll probably, I don't know if it'll be with you or not, but I'll probably cover both of their albums throughout this series. They're both fantastic, and the second one, as iconic as the first is, I think the second one might be better. And so I love using that example as, something that really shows that, listening to an album all the way through, it just shows the care that artists can put into it. And I really think, I think Caamp really did something with this album. I guess we'll start, I'm going to start with my key mentions from this album. Where's my marker? We're starting here with The Otter. Yep. Track 3, Believe, now don't get me wrong, Believe is great, but I really just want to point out The Otter. The Otter is just, it's just got everything, it's everything Caamp, I think it kind of, it captures that, happy folksy vibe that they have and that people know them for, and it just really, where are we at this point? He's talking about a girl. He's kind of head over heels for a girl in this song. Even if you're not reading into the story, which we'll get into, but if you're not reading into that, this is a great song.
I think the song on its own, even if you're not relating to the love head over heels aspect of it, is still just a banger. But then if you have been in love or are currently in love with a girl that you are just obsessed with and just want to spend all the time around. It's I'm in love with somebody's daughter is one of the lyrics. He's just absolutely obsessed with this girl in that way that I think is really, really beautiful.
And we'll get into more of the story in a minute. But second, I've got Lavender Girl as my second mention. I love this song. It really shows what Taylor can do with his voice. That's something that always, when I think of Caamp, I think of the way that he can sing. He can do kind of everything. And something about the way he sings in this song, I just love it. There's just something special about it. Well, thirdly, that's not a star.
Close enough.
Anyway, Snowshoes. So I like Snowshoes.
This one's mine. I think Snowshoes is probably top 3 Caamp songs for me in general.
It might be.
for me, I absolutely love this song. This is absolutely my favorite song on the album. And it is just incredible, but also when roped in with the whole story, and it's the way I think we decided it was supposed to be used was like she's moving away.
Yeah.
And that is just heartbreaking behind this incredible song.
I'll put a little dash here. We'll get back to the story on that one.
Dude, yeah, there's so much to say with the story, but as a standalone song, it is also just so incredible. And I have friends that I've talked to, and I'm like, yo, you listen to Caamp? And they're like, no, but I have like specifically this song is on my playlist. Out of like their whole discography, they're like, that one is on my playlist. I'm just like, that's fair. That's not a bad
This
thing.
is like such a sleeper pick. I feel like it's not like commonly thought of as one of their big songs. Unless I don't know, maybe I just listen to all their music, so I could be wrong on that one, but
I think it could get all the attention in the world and still be slept on. Like I think
so.
It's that good. So
I think it's really a masterpiece.
Yeah.
There was another song you wanted to mention.
I think Garden Song for me is also a really good pick.
I like that.
Just talking, I think that one more so talks about, whenever you're in love with someone, like, again, this is getting into the story, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself, but wanting to live like the mundane life with someone, talking about how just like, I think you're pretty when you're gardening, and you think I'm, handsome when I'm playing the guitar.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah. Good line.
There's not a lot of like extravagant spectacle in that. That's just like an average day-to-day life with someone, and he's still like, I want to spend that time with you. And that is where I love you. Like, and I think that is.
I think the lyricism in this song is really good. I think it kind of captures.
I think these two, the Otter and Garden Song, kind of capture both ends of love, like being in love with someone. And I think, them being so far apart in the album, like, really shows the development of just like initial crush, like this girl is amazing, to man, I want to spend the life with her, and like I want to live life with her, and so.
Yeah. I mean, we could sit here and talk about every song on the album. If we keep talking, I'll end up starring all of them. But, I think I want to move into kind of the overall story, because as you're listening, this kind of develops and falls apart all at the same time. And I think it's crucial to the album. And once you kind of know and think about it, like, it really makes listening to it just a whole lot better. And I think that really, like, it just shows how well written it is. And that's something I'll always say about this album, and really just Caamp as a band. I think they're very well written. But so Come With Me Now, how does it start? I mean, I want to say this is a like fantastic intro to an album. That's something. Intro is always something that is definitely crucial when listening through an album. Like, you have to find a good way to open it up without, kind of overwhelming, and like putting your best song at the top, And I think this like really introduced kind of the sound of the album, but also the story. And I think it does both of those things really well.
One thing I'll say about it is I think there's beauty in its simplicity, right? Like the title "Come With Me Now" is repeated so much throughout the song, and I think like there's a solid chunk of the song at the beginning where there's not even words.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
It doesn't start till like halfway through.
Introducing the vibes through the music and the music alone, and then it's just "Come With Me Now." As far as like lyrics go, there's a little bit else, but like "Come With Me Now" is just repeated over and over. And I think that as an intro is just laying down the foundation for what this album is. It's not trying to do too much. And if you look at this song and think, oh, it's boring, I can't really argue with that. Because I think that's what it was designed to do, was kind of open up the album in a boring but also beautiful way.
I don't even know if boring is the right word. Like, it's
simplistic, but
it's simple.
Yeah.
Simple is a better way to put it. I think boring is too harsh.
That's
because
fair.
It's not. It's just not. And we'll kind of like breeze through this because we don't want to take up all your time, but so we get introduced here, and then we move into Believe, which talk about drums. I mean, it's a folk band. You don't think about drums typically, but really the drums throughout this whole album, which you said earlier when we listened, the drums throughout this whole album are really good, and that's kind of how they kick off this song.
That's a theme that they introduce in this song well, is like the drums are there to add, not to take away from, and like try and do too much. And I think Believe is just a really good showcase of that.
I think they're very well used.
Yeah.
Not overwhelming. But so here, he sees this girl, you know, he's interested, and he's like, I think something could happen, you know? He's like, I believe in you. You know, and so he sees the potential. He's interested in this girl, and then you move into the Otter, where, like we said earlier, like he's just head over heels. You know, like this girl is kind of all that's on his mind, and
so there's like kind of the title of like I'm floating in deep water, like the unfamiliar otter, like in love with someone's daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and just like
I'm gonna lose float.
Yeah.
Kind of losing control.
He's just like enveloped in this crush, and it's kind of like he's about to lose himself in a good way.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. Then we move to Apple Tree Blues, which I mean, I'm gonna say I love this song for everyone, but like, you know, they're kind of just doing like, you know, mundane kind of romantic things, you know, Apple Tree Blues, like, you know, they're picking apples, whatever, and he says like, you know, and you'll tell me what your heart's been through, you'll tell me where you're going to. And
then it kind of gets deeper with tell me all the things that you were scared to do.
Yeah, so it's like they're like starting to kind of hang out, like do things together, and they're having these conversations, like, you know, like what have you been through? Where are you going? Like, and it does get deep, and it's just like these real conversations, and I really like that. I think it's really cool. Yeah. So moving on.
And then there's All My Lonesome, right? I consider this kind of his like reflecting on the fact that he's like so lucky to have this girl. Like, All My Lonesome, I have been waiting for a girl like you to look up to, like someone I can adore. He's saying like, you are so incredible. Like, you are all that I want. You've been what I'm waiting for. Like, you are it, you know? And he's just kind of saying like, it's almost like thank you for being so incredible that you allow me to kind of be obsessed with you and not, you know, feel bad about it because you are that great.
Now, I'm trying to remember. I think Light is kind of the turning point in this album. I think this is kind of where their relationship kind of starts to fall because I think this is where they're kind of growing distant. He says keep moving on, like. The way he talks in this album, it just feels like, you know, things kind of aren't going the way he had hoped, and it's just kind of falling apart. Okay, so this song is definitely like after they have broken up and are apart. You got lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, he says in this, and if oceans come between us, let the earth become the sky, let the misty mountains come crumbling down to the riverside.
Yeah. And it just keeps repeating this, like, long live the loneliest boy in town.
Yeah.
So, and it repeats this idea of, like lonesomeness. But, like, up here, you know, it's like that's solved. And then, you know, it goes back to being, well, he's back to being, you know, lonely, whatever. Lavender Girl.
Talk to me.
What a song. Lavender Girl, this is where he really starts to reflect. This is where he really starts to kind of think through what they had, and he says like, so he just goes through, he says couldn't hear the music, but I'm sure it was good stuff, because he's just like so focused on this girl, and he's saying like, I've never spoke to one like you before, told you all my secrets and you wanted more. And he goes on to eventually say, there's no right way to get back to her heart. And I think that just really it's just like really irking him. Like he wishes he had what they had. And he says, Lavender will take me back to the start. And that's just like he's looking back, he's missing what they had, and he just wants to go back.
He messed it up.
This is a common thing in music and songwriting. It's just like this idea of like, just take me back, like, you know, give me a time machine. Let me go back to the start. Like, I love that, and I think that's a very common theme throughout music in this kind of genre of storytelling. Next up, Garden Song. This one you starred.
I've already, like I said, a lot about it.
Oh, right.
But just the beauty in, you know, the simplistic of like what he's talking about, the way he loves her. You know, working in her garden, playing the guitar, like there's just nothing fancy about that, and it's just kind of, they're just really that in love with each other, not the grand like extravagance that relationships sometimes are built off of. Like they just really want to connect with each other. And then he goes on to say, "You think you're following me, but you're falling for me, but you don't know." And he just kind of repeats that towards the end. But I think it's just a beautiful story. Like I said, to really, you know, contrast the otter, kind of both sides of that love.
Yeah. So last three, we're gonna try to wrap it up. But Fever, I really like Fever. He kind of goes on to say, like, you know, this is where he's come to terms, and he's like, you know, go on, like, start a brand new day, you know, like go do the thing, go show the world who you are, kind of thing. And you know, and I think I think this is great, great progression. And he's just like, you know, it didn't go the way he wanted, but he's kind of encouraging her, you know, go on, you know, show him what you're made of. And then we move into Snowshoes, where he's accepted it, like but reality has hit. And you know, I even marked this one, like, we gotta explain the story a little more. But like, reality's hit, she's moving away, and he's still thinking about the life they could have had.
He's still wanting it. I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely.
I hope you know if I go there, I'm going there for you. Like he's like, for real, like, if I moved away, it would be because of you, and because I think like you are worth it, man.
Yeah.
And it's just heartbreaking. It really is. It is so mellow, and it is so, I think, lyrically beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And it just takes your heart and rips it up, dude. It is beautiful and tragic and awful and amazing, and I don't even know what else to say about it.
Man, I think that's a good way to put it. And then you got Sure Of, and Sure Of is just this beautiful, just like, I think it's a fantastic way to close the album. Same thing I feel about the intro. Like, outro's got to be good. You got to end it off. You got to wrap everything up.
It's a great closer.
I think it really wraps up this whole story, this whole theme. It really just brings it together and caps it all off. And it's kind of mellow, and it kind of just, it ends you on a soft note, and it just resolves all of the things that have been going on throughout the album.
I think it's also, I mean, it is significantly softer, but I think it's probably, I would say, like the softest, kind of most chill of all the songs, almost in like a sad way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that also kind of reflects where he's at with this, right? Like, she's gone.
It's over.
He's not happy with that. Like,
it's over.
He is down in the dumps. He is heartbroken. And so kind of ending it off with, like, you know, Snowshoes of like, if I want to move away and I want to be with you, it's over.
It's over.
And you know, it sucks, and it's awful, and there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes situations just kind of pull two people apart, and there's not a lot of closure in that. And I think he really captures that in this song, that feeling of like, how am I supposed to be okay with this situation, right? I mean, she moved away to do great things. I'm still here. We're still in love, and it just can't work out because of life. And there's not a lot of beauty. There's not a lot of upbeat happiness in that. It just sucks. And I think this song, being so chill, and also as the closer to this beautiful love story, I think really shows just the suckiness of that.
Yeah. Well, so as we wrap this up, I'm going to say, you know, if there's one song you have to listen to, it's going to be Snowshoes.
It just is.
This is just one of their best songs. Just stand alone, it's great. You know, even if you're not even looking into the lyrics, musically, fantastic. Musically, the whole album's great. We just really wanted to highlight the story, the lyricism, just all these themes that they go through, and I think it just tells a beautiful, like, cohesive thing. And it's not something that a lot of albums can do, honestly. But yeah, overall, if I had to throw out a rating, I think I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I don't even know what a 10 out of 10 album looks like, but
yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree with you.
I think this is a very solid 9 out of 10. We're gonna throw that up there.
Yep.
Probably can't even see it on the camera. Nope, you can't.
Good enough.
You know, we're gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10. It is a beautiful big love story, and I love this album. So. Yeah, if you've got suggestions, what you want to hear us talk about, it can be anything, any form of art. You know, let me know down in the comments section. We're gonna try to get these out like weekly, so you know, be looking out for those. Be looking out for other content. But yeah,
thanks for appreciating art with us, guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.